I don't know that it was harder during the early years than it is today. Maybe during the early years, learning to be flexible and learning to pivot when the weather doesn't work with you, when the markets don't work with you. Maybe you have an expansion project in mind and the markets start trending down and you have to put that expansion on hold. Navigating your first year disappointment because you can't work your plan the way you wanted to. And learning how to deal with that, with a disappointment, but to persevere on, to keep going and to pivot. I'm Gretl Schlatter. I farm here at Flat Rock Dairy in Paulding County, Ohio. Farming and dairying has been in my blood probably all of my life. Where we grew up milking roughly 80 cows, we slowly grew that to where we're at today, 350 cows. Generally, when you start adding cows, you've added cows because maybe you updated your facilities and you need more income. So you milk a few more cows to help pay for the new facilities. Then you have another family member that wants to come home, and so your business needs to grow to accommodate that family member. So maybe you add a few more cows to generate more income. That goes to business goals. We have used consultants or mentors over the years to kind of tell us, so if you can ship a truckload of milk every other day, maybe you have more access to better markets. So you kind of start looking at your business as, what can I do so that my business is still in business in 20 years? Where is agriculture going? How do I keep my business relevant? When am I getting bigger just to get bigger? And when am I getting bigger because it's important business-wise so that I can still be in business, so that I am sustainable, so that my business is relevant into the future? Do I adopt technology, and which technology? There's so many. Which ones do I adopt? Honestly, that just goes along with stewarding your business.
Dairy farming is hard work. It's 365 days, 24/7. There's other technologies that have been added in, the robotic milkers when you can't get labor, but the cost of that. And so finding that balance to say, what is sustainable? And I think really looking at what's your return on an investment. I think it also comes back to when we look at that financial side of dairy farms, what does it cost you to live? What does it take for health insurance? What does it take for all those? And talking about those things and making sure that's why we might milk 50 more cows, or that's why, it's an increase of 20, or making this more sustainable so the physical labor is not as hard on me in looking at as we do some upgrades and those type of things.
And I have found Extension to be a great resource. Generally, we've gotten training on the farm how to do the skills that we need to milk the cows for the herd health of the cows, and maybe record keeping becomes a weak point. But in getting to know Sarah, she can forward an email and say, hey, Ohio State is doing a record keeping course this winter. Would you like to take these classes? I do not enjoy sitting in the office doing the record keeping, but it's very integral to your business. The more you pay attention to your records, when the downturn comes, you've planned ahead, you've set aside some money, retained earnings for hard times. You need to be excited about what you're doing. You need to be positive, and it won't always be that way. But your foundation needs to be, we're in this for the long haul. So we're going to have some years where the markets are down. We're going to have some years where we are too dry or too wet. And we know that's going to be that way. And what are we going to do to get through those times?